I don't. All right, thank you, everybody, and welcome. This is the 2026 Truth in Taxation hearing. Each year, taxpayers receive the proposed tax notice in November, and that notice indicates the anticipated property tax that you'll pay the following year if your local jurisdictions approve the budget amounts they are considering. Those are maximum amounts, and of course, each jurisdiction cannot increase after that point in time. They can only reduce the amounts that they're going to levy. And so, of course, you're invited to attend meetings like these to express your opinion on local budgets. At this time, we will start with a presentation from Candiac County Administrator Kelsey Baker. Kelsey.
Good evening. As the board chair, this was the Truth and Taxation proposed budget for tonight. For the 2026 Truth and Taxation, this is a time for public comment on the proposed budget and the operating budget for Candiac County for 2026. This is not a time to dispute your valuation of property. And if there are any questions on estimated market value, I think most of you have been stopped by our county assessor staff to ask and answer any questions you have regarding your valuations. To preface this a little bit too, this is the Truth in Taxation is for the preliminary 2026 budget. And so we've been in discussion with some budget information, but I'll kind of play off a little bit of both. For the 2026 preliminary approved budget, the gross levy was at $47,624,678. We get county program aid just roughly above $3 million, $3.2 million, and our levy was coming in at a 7.1. Some of our key drivers, payroll and wages. The county board approved a wage adjustment at the beginning of January 1, 2024. However, in considerations and conversations with the county board, the county still continues to maintain be a competitive employer to retain and attract talented individuals to work for county government and public service. There have been changes to local government property tax needs. New taxes have been introduced, referendums within the school district, not within school districts that not necessarily have local control within county government. Changes in market values with legislation, classification rates, state aid formulas. I'll touch a little bit upon the capital improvement, equipment purchases, building maintenance, and then we continue to look at evaluating existing programs, services, and partnerships, opportunities to fully recoup costs, specifically within our human services budget, embrace opportunities to minimize new mandates and look at efficiencies within technology, and to pursue legislative advocacy to ensure thoughtful implementation of new processes and policies. This is a breakdown of the proposed 2026 capital improvement budget. The board had a budget work session this morning that this was talked about. This has been reduced. A county our size typically budgets around 1.5 million within capital improvement. We are budgeting for 2026, 1.29. And so that was reduced from 2025 to 2026. This is the quasi-government request that we do receive from all of our county partners. So it includes, and the list is up there, the Central Community Transit, the Historical Society, the Humane Society, Soil, Water, Community Conservation District, sorry, SWCD, I was looping the UCAP and their United Community Action Partnership, Vision 2040. You can read through that list yourselves, but the request for 2026 came in at 1.6 million. Just in conversations this afternoon, this is a revised quasi-government coming in at 1.5 million. For the taxable market value, I'm really gonna simplify this as much as I can to make it solely focused on county government, our levy. the county government levy. And so when we look at the proposed 7.16%, this example assumes no changes in your valuation in the taxable market value on a residential homestead property. The net tax capacity for the state of Minnesota remains consistent from payable 25 to 26 at 1% of a taxable market value for the residential property. And this illustrates the county tax rate only, which is based on the levy the board has set. And so if you can see for a residential home at $300,000, if you go across the row to the very end, that difference is a $9 difference in your taxes on the county levy. And so there are other organizations that attribute to the taxes increase, which is the school districts. If you're in city limits, sometimes it can be a township, water and watersheds. And then the state classification, state taxes as well, play into effect with that. So I think to get down to the dirty is the proposed levy for 2026. The board approved the preliminary levy at the 7.1%. And that is a net levy of $44,416,287. After board discussions this morning, staff went back and looked at the budget and came back with other options. I have presented options at the November 18th meeting that looked at true ongoing operating expenses, which was one of them was the recycling contract. This morning at the budget work session, we looked at other areas of reducing public works budget, reducing the health and human services budget, and reducing some quasi-government. Based off those discussions, the quasi-government will remain the same as 2025. And so those numbers were updated in the presentation, as I said, and we reduced the human services budget, public works, and then there were some other ancillary costs that we were able to reduce. So option 2 is to the right of the 7.1, it's that 6.23. This option is coming in without the additional use of reserves. And that's utilizing, correcting the quasi-governments, utilizing the 200,000 from, we upped from 180 to 200,000 within human services, and 60,000 from the miscellaneous fund, and then 50,000 with the public works. This includes that 1.15 use of reserves as those one-time expenditures within the landfill and our general fund reserves. Then option 3 for the board to review would be the 5.38. This includes the same dollar amounts of reductions. Additionally, $350,000 of general fund reserves, which would use 1.5 million of reserves. These are different options that were discussed this morning based off the board's direction. And so these are 2 options the board can review at the December 16th meeting. As for tonight will be the public comment. Just to remind the board too, the 2026 budget goals specifically focused on the strategy 1, progressive leadership to provide optimal value and premier customer service. I always say there's an equal sign between staff and services. When we cut staff, we reduce services. The board has maintained to provide adequate and exceptional services. And a forward-thinking, fiscally responsible, transparent county government. I feel that since, for the year of 2025, we've held budget work sessions, we've had budget discussions during regular board meetings. The information that has been presented is more in-depth information that is more transparent for the public to view on our meeting portal. And some of those key areas pulling out from the strategic plan were to complete the space study and review next steps. There's no decision has been made on that. Professional development and training opportunities for our employees, best practices and efficiencies for delivering services to the public. At the August 19th board work session, our IT director spoke on the use of technology, and once you get behind, the cost of getting up to date on that is far greater than staying up to date on it. County board strategic planning, and then changes in interest rates that we have been seeing already for 2025. So for taxpayer information, like I said before, we have board work sessions throughout the year. Our budget information is on our meeting portal, which is all public record. We have an appeal and equalization meeting, the second meeting in June. The budget's always available on the county website or by contacting myself. The 2026 levy and budget will be adopted at the regular county board meeting, which begins at 9 a.m. Tuesday, December 16th of this year. And then, as always, if you have any questions on the budget, feel free to reach out to your commissioner within the district you live in or myself. I will stand for questions, and you could open up the public hearing.
Thank you. And just to kind of elaborate on the point in regards to providing services, a vast majority of the services that counties provide in the state of Minnesota are at the direction of either the state or the federal government. And so those mandates are just simply not optional. But for us, our main cost drivers, as you said, are wages and what else are we figuring in there? Wages are the primary thing here.
Our biggest drivers then would be the landfill. Our county jail is a big driver as well, and then road projects.
Okay.
One thing too, you brought up a good point, Mr. Chair, if I may just say, the mandated services, being that we are in Wilmer as a regional hub, one of the mandated services that we do have within Human Services, along with those mandated services, we do receive federal reimbursements through that or state reimbursements. However, those haven't increased, and in fact, they've either stayed the same or decreased within our Human Services Department. And if we don't stay in line with those mandates, we get then put on a performance improvement plan, just like you would do with an employee with the state. We, to provide an example, we were put on a PIP within our income maintenance regarding our unwinding, going through the applications. That was a 3-year process. When you get put on a PIP after, it's not like a termination with an employee, they just reduce your funding. The state reduces that funding. And so in order to keep up on those mandates and not be placed on a performance improvement plan with the state, you have to somewhat increase staff in order to get the work done. That's not a choice that we necessarily have unless you want to reduce your funding and not make those ends meet then. So I will stand for any questions as well. I'm going to remove this. If that's okay, I can always pull it back up. And then I will let you open the public hearing.
Go right ahead. Anyone else with any up here at the podium?
Yes,
Commissioner Burke.
thank you, Mr. Chair. I just really like to add too for the public, for your information. A lot of the stuff, and they were saying this already in different ways or in different areas about mandatory services we have to provide, including the levy. And the levy basically covers our legal contracts we have with employees, union contracts and so forth. And that comes to 7% this year. And we're stuck with that no matter what we do. So we're looking at reserves and trying to get below that at this point. I'm going to be trying to work on that more going forward.
Any other commissioners with any comments? Just one, so everybody in the audience and out there knows, our involvement within the, as a county board with the Association of Minnesota Counties, as well as other organizations in human services, corrections, so public works, so on and so forth, is at a pretty high level. When we first started talking budgets during the legislative session, there were fears that we were going to be looking at double-digit increases because of increased cost shifts from the state and federal government. And through a lot of that advocacy work that was done by the association and members sitting up here tonight, that we were able to assist in beating back the worst of those cost shifts. We could have been looking at we'd have needed a different room for this meeting tonight if those cost shifts would have happened. So, and since then, it's been a slow and steady slog to try to get down to something that is more manageable. We were at an 8% levy last year, which is the highest in recent memory. I don't believe it's anybody's intent up here to keep us at the 7.16 that we authorized as a preliminary levy. So, last call for anyone else with any comments? Commissioner Byrd.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do like to talk, as you can probably notice. But I want to just talk about, this has been such a challenge for myself and I think for the board as well. And as we all know, we read the news, the state and the federal government, all the changes they're making. And they're passing along a lot more expenses to us. And unfortunately, we have to put this on a levy. And normally, I personally feel, I can only speak for myself, but the levy I always thought was for, sheriff protection, good roads and bridges and elections and, those things. We're having to put a lot of other things on that, and that's really difficult. And so, as you were saying, Mr. Chair, that this has been a real challenge. And I'm thinking, we're working hard this year. Next year or the year after, the way it sounds, there could be more new challenges. So we'll hang on and see what happens.
All right. Last call.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would concur with what both of my colleagues have said up here in that we've really worked hard. I'm in my 13th year. This is my 13th budget. I don't think we've ever worked as hard as we did this year. It's not as low as it's been in the past, but we've worked really hard to get it to where I hope it might end up. A lot of that is, as my colleagues have said, out of our control because of mandates that have been handed down to us. I don't think we're at the end of those mandates yet. They're going to be phased in over the next couple of years, and I don't think it's fair to the property owners for that shift to take place. There should really be the funding. For example, from the federal government, the SNAP and Medicaid mandates are to basically we have to do eligibility checks more often. Well, we don't mind doing additional eligibility checks, but provide us with the resources to be able to do that instead of saying, we're going to make your homeowners and your business owners and your farm owners pay for that cost. It's unfair to the taxpayers. We're working as hard as we can, both at the state level and at the federal level to, as Commissioner Gardner says, beat back some of these shifts that are coming forward. Remains to be seen how successful we will be at it, but we're working hard at it.
All right, anyone else up here? All right, then, at this time, we will open up the meeting for public input, and I just kind of want to go over a couple of ground rules real quick. When you do come up, please come up to the podium, speak into the microphone, give us your name and address for the record. And this session is to talk about the budget. It's as one of the first slides mentioned, we aren't here to talk about valuations, although we have folks out in the corridor that can certainly help you with that. This is a conversation about the budget that we're, the preliminary levy that we put out. And we just ask that you keep to the topic of the budget. Of course, we know that everybody is going to do their utmost to be respectful of their audience and everyone's time. So with that, is there anyone who wishes to address the board?
Joe Jungers, 506 Nola Drive Northwest. My wife and I moved here 5 years ago and took in a few different things to account when we moved here. And one of them is what most people probably do is you look up what the taxes are per year. And 5 years ago, it was, I know we're not here to talk about the home evaluations, but correct me if I'm wrong, does not the levy and a lot of the other money that the county gets comes from property taxes?
The short answer to that is yes.
Yep.
But it's a longer answer than you might think, because there are state formulas that speak to valuations that our assessors must follow. And so, you know, it's not like we've got folks coming around every couple of years saying, ooh, that looks nice, we'd better value that at a higher rate. There are formulas and all sorts of different things that we must follow by state statute. I know that's not of a lot of comfort, but those are, again, some of the constraints that counties have to work under. And to Commissioner Imdek's point, it's simply not fair to put ongoing costs for state programming on the backs of our property taxpayers, certainly.
So when we moved to Wilmer, it was $2,500 a year for our property tax, and the house was built in 1966. So in 60 years, or 55 years, it went from 0 to 2,500, and now in the last 5 years, it's gone from 2,500 to 5,000. So what brings me here tonight, and probably a lot of other people, is the horrible feeling of being stuck. That's not how we felt when we first moved here, and how we felt in the last 5 years up until probably last year, and then this year was why I'm standing here tonight. When you live in a community or a county and you are happy here and everything is going really good, you don't feel stuck. And then when all of a sudden, in a short 5-year span, your property taxes double what took, you know, from 0 to 55, and then from 55 to 60, we don't want to move and we don't want to leave, but that's the horrible stuck feeling, is it's getting to the point where we almost have to. And I just wanted to voice my opinion and let you all know, I think you're in a very precarious position, and, you know, appreciate the city council of Moose Lake, or of Wilmer, and what you guys do for the county. It's virtually probably volunteering your time, and it is a lot of time. But I wanted to just give you from a couple of people that moved here 5 years ago how it was, and then how we feel tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, and I do want to thank you for your choice to move to Candy, Ojai County. I'm reasonably certain that that same sentiment is shared in the other 86 counties as well, because of the formulas that everybody, and this part of this is due to that overheated real estate market that caused valuations to really shoot up through the roof. That's the number one driver of those costs. Our levy has not doubled in 5 years. So it's, like, as you recognized, it's a tough, precarious situation for us to be in. So, yes, please. Name and address and welcome.
Jerry Dames from Candy, Ojai, City of. I'm at 208 Atlantic Avenue, right by the post office. I echo what he has to say, but I also am wondering, how many of you are businessmen?
Our what?
Businessmen.
In what?
Have you-
Businessmen.
Businessmen, or are you just a professional commissioner?
No, I'm retired, but I worked out in professional sales for 20
Well,
plus
as a
years.
business person, you understand that you have a budget. This is a business. This county is a business. And when the business isn't functioning right, you find ways of making things better, not just increasing your profits. That's kind of how I feel, is that you're increasing your profits instead of benefiting your people here. I'd like to know, I've been to the city landfill many times this summer, and I know they charge to leave things there, you know, depending on what you have. Where does that money go?
And I apologize, I don't hear very well, so I didn't catch all of that.
The money that is collected at the sanitary landfill, when you drop things off, where does that money go?
Mr. Chair, can I?
You may, yes, thank you.
So tonight is really for public comment, it's not for debate and back and forth, it's for just hearing from the
But
public.
I'm
and-
wanting to know where our money's going. Okay,
Yeah, when,
because I also know our taxes for our license taps and our cars have gone up immensely. I mean, I have a 2017 car. I mean, it should be going down, and it's going up. So my question is, if we have decreased a lot of our things, we're not increasing our wages, we're not doing this and that, what is it that you guys are doing other than your mandates from the federal government? What are you doing to be able to keep things lower than they need to be? I mean, I don't understand why we need to keep going up. 7%'s a lot of money for all of us. You know, my taxes are going up 60% this coming year. Yeah, I'm upset about it. I don't know how I'm gonna stay here. But what are you doing with my money?
Can I just say something?
Yes, please.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Chair. We spent a lot of time down in the legislature last winter. And we were telling them, you cannot be passing a lot of these things that are passing on mandates onto us. And one of their solutions was, well, we're gonna, to help balance the state budget, they were gonna shift costs over down to the local governments. And it was about a 3.6 or $3.7 billion
We had a
cost shift.
surplus last year, though, and that disappeared.
Not last, we didn't have, well, we had maybe a little bit of a surplus, but yeah, a couple years ago, we had
So-
$18 billion and they blew it.
And they blew it, that's
Yeah.
right. What happened to
so-
we the people?
So then when they did that, they had a smorgasbord and they passed a lot of mandates, okay? And they push it off onto us. But then when it comes time to pay for it, they don't have money. But they still have the mandate and we have to follow the law. So we spend a lot of time down the legislature arguing for ourselves as a county and indirectly for our constituents that, hey, you can't keep doing this to us. And so they hurt us towards the end, but there's still a lot of mandates.
So
My
between
point,
now
my
and
point
when
to them was, if you're going to pass these mandates, you got to give us the money to enforce them or to implement them. You can't just pass mandates onto us and then walk away with no money.
So between now and the time that you raise my taxes, are you still fighting for me, we the people?
We will be going back down there this winter. Yes, we do. Every year we go down there and we argue and try to get our
Because
point.
like this gentleman says, I'm deciding whether or not I'm gonna stay here or not, because I can't afford to live in my home anymore.
All right. Anything else for us this evening? Okay. Thank you for your comments. Appreciate that. Yes, sir.
Mark Rupplinger, 9877 37th Avenue Southeast Candy High. Congratulations, or on your deal. I opened my statement up on a Friday night after I got the mail, and we were up till 2 a.m. deciding whether we should move to South Dakota or North Dakota. But back to our budget here in Candy High County. Maybe what we should do is outsource some of the services, like our snow plowing, our grading, things like that, instead of retaining, because all we're doing is keep paying higher wages, more money, more insurance, and let's outsource it. Hormel does a job like that with their live haul. They don't have their own drivers, they outsourced it. Somebody's smart enough to figure that out. Why don't we do that at our county level? Be the first one in Minnesota. be a leader. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to comment to the board?
6:34.
I didn't hear that.
Put my hand
But
on
the
it.
food shelf did. Anyone else? Okay, last and final call for other public comment. All right, then we will close that portion of the, again, I suspect that several of us will be hanging around here for a little bit. So if you want to come up and visit with us privately, we'll certainly be happy to do that. There are no easy answers. And so tonight we're here to listen, and we empathize greatly with you. I'm in the same boat. Mine have doubled on our little twin home. I think everybody up here is in a similar situation, so we feel it too. And you know, we have a long history of working on behalf of our constituents, and we'll continue that as well. What else is there that we need to accomplish here tonight? And does statute mandate a specific time that we need to keep this hearing open?
You don't, go ahead.
When you're done, or can I make a quick comment?
We can close the public hearing. We should be available till 7 PM.
All right, thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Imdeck, and then Commissioner Byrd, and then Commissioner Andrews.
First off, again, you've been thanked by the chair already about coming today, and I really appreciate that. And when I've campaigned, in the district I work in, I knocked on every door 3 times. And I would say practically the entire time I heard pretty much the same things you were saying. But that was, a couple of years ago for I won a re-election, or 3 years ago, and then 4 years before that. And so this feeling's been around there, and it's even getting more. And I appreciate hearing from you, and this way I appreciate the whole board, because it keeps us grounded that this isn't our money we're spending your money. And I've heard that so many times, and I really appreciate your coming. So as we go forward with this budget again, and next year, and that we keep remembering that, and keep letting us know that hold our feet to the fire on this. This hurts us all, and we'll keep working for you. And I really would like to answer some of your questions, that there's a lot of good services happening in our community, great community to live in, and a lot of things that people don't see this happening behind the scenes with your money. Far as the parks and the safety and the police force and the rescue squad, and there's quite a list of, fair elections and all these things that take a lot of dollars. And I want to thank you for your dollars. I want to thank you for paying your taxes. But we do have to keep in mind that they're going up. And I've been reading I read the news a lot, and local news and Minnesota news. And this is not new to us, this is not just here neither. But there's no excuse that we can sit and say, yes, we hear you, we feel your pain. We don't feel your pain, and no more than you probably feel my pain either. But we got to take it really serious, and I really appreciate and thank you for this input. And I would appreciate hearing from others too, because our job is here tonight is to listen and to hear from you and let it sink in. And somebody brought up, well, what was your job before, whatever. We can still figure out what to do, whatever our job was before. I'm not a professional commissioner. I ran for commissioner because I want to create this place to be a good place to live, but we also want to be a place where you can afford to live, and that's really important. And so thank you for holding our feet to the fire. I appreciate it.
And just to piggyback on that a little bit, this is the first time, I think, in my 5 years that we've had anybody come to the TNT hearing. So thank you for that. Commissioner Imdeck?
Thank you. While they were speaking, I looked up the average in the state of Minnesota for 87 counties, the average preliminary budget increase is 8.1%. Our initial one, and I I don't think we're gonna end there, but I'm, can't speak for everybody up here, was 7.1. And so we're working at it. You know, some counties are really, really struggling. They're at double digit. And we're not gonna be the lowest one, but we're below average right now, so. There's probably no consolation to when we pay our property taxes this spring. But the whole state is facing that.
Commissioner Dale Anderson.
Yeah, I just want to echo what everybody else said. I was, you know, we were sitting here in our meeting and I was watching people stand out there and I was just thinking, what a great deal that you guys took time out of your evening. It's cold out to come and tell us your concerns. I'm a farmer from the northern part of the county. I have a lot of acres of land that I'm paying tax on, and it's gonna be ugly. But the biggest thing I think that we have to look at is what Roger just brought up. This is statewide. And I think that's why we have to really struggle to try and talk to our legislative people and try and figure out a way to help the whole state. Because it's not only just one area or one part of the area that gets affected. The one thing, I had a conversation with a guy yesterday on the phone on his property taxes and concern that he had. And I think the one thing that we have to really try to look at in this county, and I don't have the answer for it, but I think it's a big reason why our taxes are higher and why we pay higher fees for services throughout the county, whether that's electricity or whatever it is. We need to get big business into Kansas County. And I think it's our job as people and constituents of this county to try and find the businesses to get into this county and help get us some revenue and get us some jobs and bring more people into this county as far as a bigger business. It helps a lot. You look at St. Cloud, they've got a few big businesses and that really helps them out with their cost of their taxes and everything, even though they still have increases this year too. But I think that's really something that affects us because we are so residential in Kansas County, and it really makes it hard for that money to be spread out like it is without having a business to help support it. So I hope that we can maybe find some business to come into this area and help out and get things going. But it is great to see as many people come out as I see here in the audience. Not that it's a fun reason you're here, but it's good to hear from people. And I think the biggest thing is if you have neighbors that are frustrated, everybody is talking about this, send us an email, give us a call. We appreciate that. I'd much rather have a phone call with a constituent than sit in this room. Because I feel that that's the importantest thing that we can do is help out the people that are from our area or from the county. So don't be afraid to call or be frustrated and tell us what you're thinking, because that's what it's all about. We have to hear it. We have to hear of problems in the county and in our districts, and then we can't guarantee we're gonna fix it, but we at least need to know about it and know everybody's feelings so we can do our best to try and help with that. So thank you guys very much for taking time to come out.
Mr. Chair, can I just add one more thing? Sure. Okay, thank you. I don't give me the mic, but I just want to add, this is your room, and this is our room, and you're welcome here anytime. And actually, you know, when we have our meeting, there's a lot of times there's not people here, and we're on video, you can watch us, but you're welcome here anytime. We want to be transparent. This is a public meeting, anytime we get together. And not that we would probably take anything from the audience during these meetings. It depends on what kind of meeting it is. But you can sure then catch us before or after or whatever and let us know too. But yeah, keep holding our feet to the fire, and thank you. And this is your room, and I want to thank you for paying your taxes so that we can do the things that we should be doing, that you think we should be doing. So thank you.
All right, I think we've exhausted our words.
One person,
I'm sorry?
One person had one comment, or
I got a quick question.
Kinney?
Yeah, but come up to the mic, please. Just so we have it recorded and on the record.
If the commissioners could tell who they represent or what area they represent, that would be fantastic. Because District 1 doesn't mean nothing to me,
Yeah,
you know?
okay.
Yep, understood. All right.
Tell me to help start, Steve?
What's that?
You want me to start?
Sure, yes.
So I cover from 71, from basically a little bit north of Pennock, to 71 to the northwest. And then I have a little sliver of the southeast corner of Wilmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is George Corky Berg, and I go by Corky, but you can call me George too if you really get mad at me. My mother used to, but call me George at those times. But District 1 is kind of hard to explain. I often say it's mostly the western half of Wilmer and the north side of Wilmer. But I don't know, I can't say it's gerrymandering or whatever, but the southern part starts by Menards and it kind of works its way up all the way to 10th Street. And so everything west of that is the area I represent, as well as Voss Park and out by the college and the road going around the lake there as well, in the north side of Wilmer, except not to all the north side of Wilmer, right along 7th Street on the lake side, that is yours, right?
Yep.
So he just ends up all over sometimes, but that pretty much lets you know. But this information is online if you're into computers, and on our website, it does show a good map exactly. You can pinpoint that, or you can call us or contact the administrator's office as well to find out. But that's really a good comment, because a lot of times you knock on doors and stuff, and so forth, people are busy with their lives. They kind of forget who you were even, from year to year, because we're not there. And we try to be out in the public as much as possible to identify ourselves. But our community has really grown since I grew up here, let's put it that way, and really changed. But enough said. Thank you.
And I'm Steve Gardner, and mine is District 2, which is the rest of Wilmer. So essentially, the east part of Wilmer, the Central Business District, over to about 28th Avenue southwest, and then over to Lakeland Drive. And then to the east of that are the two Wilmer precincts that Dale has. And I've been, this is my first year of my second term.
Okay, I'm Dwayne Anderson. I'm District 5, and that would be, there's 24 townships in Kandiyohi County. I have 13 of them. So I represent the south portion of the county. So it'd be, on the east side would be Harrison Township, which is around Diamond Lake. And then it drops down to Genesee, which would include the city of Atwater. Then you go west, it would be Kandiyohi Township. And then there's Wilmer Township, so I don't get much of Wilmer. I maybe get a few constituents out of Wilmer on the edges. And then Edwards Township, and then everything south. So like towns of Princeburg, Raymond, Bloomkiss, Savea, Lake Lillian, it would be the towns also that I represent, so.
And I am Roger Imdick, and Mark, to your point, I don't even know what my district number is most of the time, but I represent the northeast, essentially the northeast corner of the county, Burbank Township, Roseville Township, Irving Township, New London Township, and Green Lake, as well as the cities of New London, Spicer, and Regal. And we do own a business, and I spent most of my life farming, and we own a business, Three Sisters Furnishings, just outside of New London.
All right. Any last comments from the board? Otherwise, we'll make ourselves available for discussion out here. And with that, we will close the comment portion of the Truth and Taxation meeting. And can we adjourn this? Okay, then we will adjourn the meeting. This is the third of 3 meetings that we've held in this room today, so thank you for your patience.
It's been a long day.